Many difficulties and hard times in my life. There were times that I didn't have enough money for a dinner.
I welcome Dr. Ali Tehrani, ex-biotherapeutics. Sir, your professional journey is remarkable.
You have to remember that when you're trying to do the right thing and you have an idea that is not selfish, someone will recognize it, someone will back it. But if you also try to tell a story that people want to hear.
What I find fascinating is that when it comes to borders, there's no color. It's not like I'm looking over there and I say, oh, there is a red line, there's a green line, there's a black line. But somehow, when we talk to each other as human beings, we've gotten to a place where we see colors.
Listen to that voice. You know what the right thing to do is. I don't need to call it out for you. It's our choice whether we do it or not. In all of the continents on this planet, there were people before that either through wars or through battles or through tribal wars, they were pushed out or pushed aside. I often talk about the United States. I talk about the state of California. I talk about the state of Texas. I talk about the state of Arizona or New Mexico. Historically, they were not part of the United States. They were part of Mexico. And yet those same people are told that they don't belong in the United States. So history tells us a lot. And just because there are maps drawn in a certain way today, that doesn't mean those lines were there 300 years ago, 400 years ago, 1,000 years ago.
Immigrants, welcome to the Immigrant Nation podcast. Today, I welcome Dr. Ali Tehrani, ex-biotherapeutics. Sir, your professional journey is remarkable, from building one of Canada's most important biotech companies to helping advance cancer therapies. Today, we go deeper. At least I'm hoping you'll help us go deep. We will explore the immigrant behind the name, the personal journey behind the public success, and how science, risk, family, and resilience shape the immigrant leader you have become. Immigrants, engage in this conversation on social media. We encourage you to join the pod on TikTok and Instagram at The Immigrant Nation, Facebook, The Immigrant Nation Podcast, LinkedIn, YouTube, The Immigrant Nation Podcast, and Spotify, The Immigrant Nation.
I am very glad to be here. Thank you for having me as a guest on your podcast. I am excited to share my journey and my background with everyone. I think right from the start, what I would say is that the term immigrant is a term in a vocabulary book somewhere. It was defined for us by others. At the heart of it, at the very center of it, home is where you think home is. Home is the place that you belong. When we're born into this world, we are not given a choice of where we want to be born into. We are born in a geography, in an area of the world that has lines drawn by others through wars, through history. And we accept that place as what we should call home. But in reality, home is where you feel in peace. Home is where you feel you can do your best work. You're supported, you are challenged, you feel safe. And in my journey, I was born in Iran. I was born at a time of turmoil where the country was going through a revolution, where what I learned to be was very quickly not anymore, because the country was going from one form of government to a theocracy. And that resulted in a lot of people leaving the country and moving around the world, leaving their families behind, leaving their loved ones behind, leaving their schools behind. I didn't speak English, and I had to leave the country and go to Greece as my first stop, to an American school where I hardly spoke any English other than hello. But I had to learn the language. I had to do my homework, my math homework, with a dictionary in front of me. So we are forced sometimes out of the place that we're born. That's okay. The question is, where do you find home to be? And for me, my journey after Greece took me to the United States for my college education and ultimately to Canada for my doctoral degree. I came to Canada in the late 90s, and 5 minutes after my plane landed, I knew I was home. I knew this is where I was going to be for the rest of my life. It felt right. Couldn't explain why, but I knew I was home. And I know your listeners know that.
I wanted to dig into that feeling of knowing your home. What is that like?
It's very hard to put it into words, but what I can tell you is you walk around, the colors are brighter, the smells are nicer, the coffee tastes better. You no longer feel like a stranger, like a guest. So the colors of our skin, our family names, what it says on the passport or a visa does not define you. And countries like Canada have always been welcoming with an open arm. They've been built by immigrants. In fact, if you look around the world, those who currently claim as the original, as the natives, are not it. In all of the continents on this planet, there were people before that either through wars or through battles or through tribal wars, they were pushed out or pushed aside. I often talk about the United States. I talk about the state of California. I talk about the state of Texas. I talk about the state of Arizona or New Mexico. Historically, they were not part of the United States. They were part of Mexico. And yet those same people are told that they don't belong in the United States. So history tells us a lot. And just because there are maps drawn in a certain way today, that doesn't mean those lines were there 300 years ago, 400 years ago, 1,000 years ago. You're on mute.
Borders are physical, Ali. How do we overcome borders in our minds?
We, as humans, have a habit of creating borders, lines, challenges for ourselves. If you start to look past that, if you act, behave, believe that you belong, then you belong wherever you want to be. That's within our power. And for me right now, for the past 30 years, as much a Persian where I was born and only lived in that country I want to contribute to my society. I want to contribute to where I live. I want to be someone.
What I find fascinating is that when it comes to borders, there's no color. It's not like I'm looking over there and I say, oh, there is a red line, there's a green line, there's a black line. But somehow, when we talk to each other as human beings, we've gotten to a place where we see colors. Now, I understand the bigger picture, right? I understand the idea of dividing a people to conquer, to rule, to guide and to lead, right? The biggest concern I have is that those of us who have the privilege to relocate from one mass of land to another mass of land, we encounter a different culture, one that we like or do not approve. And we encounter people who have certain values that we may not have fundamentally grown knowing what they are. Walk us through your process when you want to overcome the walls, invisible walls that have been created around and within us, some which we ourselves have created, to be able to discover that gift that God has given all of us, the gift of who you are.
Study any of the major religions, from Christianity to Islam to Judaism to any other religion, very rarely, if ever, you're going to read a message of divide. I don't think there is a passage in the Bible. I don't think there is a passage in the Quran. I don't think there is a passage anywhere in the Torah that talks about color, that talks about divide. It is the interpretation, it is the desire of others that brings divide. We have a common enemy, all of us, that doesn't recognize color, doesn't recognize sexuality, doesn't recognize nationality, and that's cancer. Cancer will kill every part of this planet with the same vigor, yet we don't come together to recognize that what destroys us doesn't care where we live, doesn't care where we come. The challenge is that when we are grown, when we are raised, and we're told that these things matter, we carry it with us. In my upbringing in Iran, first 13 years of my life, constantly kids are brainwashed that the heritage, that way of life, that way of thinking is important. So by the time I become a teenager, I've had 12, 13 years of everyone banging in my head of what I need to carry forward and never question it, never look beyond it, versus telling our kids that color doesn't matter, sexuality doesn't matter, borders don't matter. We tell the exact opposite to our kids from the moment they're born. So how are we expected to accept each other if from 5 minutes after we're born, we're told we're supposed to be this way?
If I may step in, for immigrants, the last few years have been especially difficult for immigrants across the globe. Europe, Canada, even in Africa, West Asia. It seems like there's been this knock-on push against the idea of immigration. And we'll probably continue on this path a little bit. But for those of us who recognize the idea of migrating, that we're not migrating because we hate contribute to do good, how do immigrants, how do parents who are raising children from immigrants start changing that narrative?
You use your kindness, your education, your thinking to contribute to your society versus separating it. I've lived all around the world where we come to a new country, to a new society, yet we want to carry the baggage from where we came from with us. And we don't integrate, we don't become one. We want to have our own little small part of the world, but in a new place. And what I've heard, one politician here in Canada put it best: bring your best and leave the baggage behind. We've had, you look at, in the United States, look at the top 10 tech companies. The CEOs are all not born or raised in the United States. And then maybe they've accepted United States as their home, but that's not where they were born. So again, we have a choice. We have a choice in accepting a new home and giving our best by example, or building walls in our new homes because we want to hold on to the past. And I have, my wife is Canadian, my kids are Canadian. They ask about where I was born and I tell them where I was born, but I'm also honest about the fact that my connection to the country I was born is limited to 13 years of memory. And in many ways, you asked if I was an immigrant, I consider myself a citizen of this planet as opposed to a particular area of the world. My responsibility in the work that I've done with the companies that you mentioned is not limited to a geography, that I care just as much about you as I do someone in China, as I do somewhere in Japan, and somewhere in India, somewhere in Pakistan.
First off, appreciate the fact that you carry a burden to love humanity and to solve X for humanity. Walk us through, how did the pandemic, COVID-19, change you, your life, your career path when you look back from this point on?
if you, for the listeners in the United States as an example, if you go back and you look at the soldiers that died in the Vietnam War, roughly just under 100,000, actually not even close to 100,000. You look at the number of people that died in the United States because of COVID-19, it was well over 600,000. COVID-19 was a reminder that one small virus is more powerful than anything we have of any kind. And the only reason you and I are sitting here is because we all came together. We, as a world, got united. And that was possible. No one really cared at that point. Everyone said, this is the thing we need to do. And yes, people all talked about, do we need the vaccine or do we need the mask? There was always questions. But when you look at the totality, people united. People walked around each other like they cared about each other. So in the face of evil, we come together. But when there is nothing bad, we tend to actually turn our weapons against each other. If I come to your neighborhood, wherever you live, you may look at me, you may look at the color of my skin, you may look at my complexion, you may look at how I walk, and you go, you don't belong here. And my answer is, why don't I belong here? And similarly, if you come to where I live, I may go, oh, I haven't seen someone like you. We need to get rid of that. You should be free to come to my home, and I should be free to come to your home without our first reaction being a negative reaction.
When you say we don't, do you mean humanity? Do you mean immigrants?
I mean all of it, every form, because we tend to think of ourselves as the highest level of consciousness. But in practice, if you look at the animal world, they tend to be very different than who we are. They don't take when they don't have to. They don't attack just because. They don't do to each other what we do to each other as humanity. There is a word that bothers me in the English language. Terrifies me. I have 2 kids. That word is kidnap. Just stop for a second. As an immigrant, as someone that, like me, English is their second language, perhaps. We accept that word where we have to be horrified by it. We use it all the time. If someone goes missing, we say this person has been kidnapped. Kidnapped. That means that we accept kids being taken away from their parents. This is where it has to stop. This is where, as a humanity, if my family is in danger, your family has to come and help.
Let me tell you a story, because it relates to just what you said. I think 2 years ago, my family and I went on a vacation in really what I would consider a beautiful, docile culture, foreign country. Such a wonderful visit. But I remember this one time when we were traveling and we had to pull over to a gas station because my son needed to use the restroom. And he disappeared into the gas station to go use the restroom, not realizing that the restroom in this country usually is in the back or behind the building. And so we're waiting, he's not showing up. We go into the store, he doesn't come out, and my wife freaks out, he's been kidnapped. Yet the people in that culture did not translate the definition of kidnapping, because in their culture, they don't have that. They speak English, don't get me wrong. But within the culture itself, the idea of a kid being kidnapped is so foreign that it was laughable for them. So their response was to laugh, like, this is funny. But watching my wife shrink and continue to freak out, because in her American culture, this is a real thing. The more they seemed like they were laughing or taking it nonchalant, the worse it got for her. Until, of course, obviously, my son eventually showed up, 5, 6 minutes later. But it just shows you the power of words and what our interpretation can be.
If you're an immigrant, if you accept yourself as an immigrant, per the definition of certain group of people that look at immigrants as a second class, then you will be second class. If I'm walking, I see a child without a parent, I will stop and watch till that child is with a parent. I don't care who it is. And similarly, if anyone calls and says, "Hey, Ali, I need help with my career, I need to talk to you," I don't pick and choose. That's why I'm on your podcast. I didn't know you. I didn't see you before. I didn't look at any of it. And here I am with you for an hour. So this doesn't make me great. This doesn't make me exceptional. This gives you an example of what you can do. And if all of us do that, imagine the power of that versus letting the other forces change us. And that's just a data point. That's one example. We have a choice to do the right thing or not the right thing. And that is not on God. That is not by laws. That is not by anything other than the choice you make. To go to school, to give back more than you take.
We have found a place we call home. We have found a place where we're in love. How do we start expressing our gifts to society?
You know something, Martin? Here's a simple example. Look around your house. Make sure as the weather gets better, you put bright flowers around your house. Make your house the most welcoming it can be. There are thousands of examples in what people call dangerous neighborhoods, where one house, one church, one mosque, one school changed it for everyone. By having a bright color, by having flowers, by having their door open versus closed, by smiling, by saying hello. You don't need complicated political answers. You need good behavior. And if they knock it down, build it again. And if they knock it down, build it again.
Talking about building and rebuilding, the idea of Zymerx, how did you conceive the idea, and how did that idea over time translate to the gift you left for society?
I started Zymerx because I was pretty sure no one was going to hire me. I didn't fit the typical formula, the typical mold. I didn't fit what success looks like. So I fought for myself without ever accepting the word no, or it can't be done, or you can't do it. I just don't understand that word. I don't understand impossible. I don't understand limitations. I push and you figure it out.
The idea of pushing back and creativity. What are some of the ways you found most creative in merging the two together?
I often tell people, don't keep it in your head. Write it down. Look at it. Express yourself. We have great ideas early in the morning. Late at night, anxiety and fear comes in. You wake up in the morning, especially in a sunny day or even a rainy day, or you have your first cup of coffee or tea. You are ready to go after it. Around 11:30, midnight, the other voices show up that tell you not to do it, or it's a bad idea, or it's going to fail. Early in that phase, when you're running, when you're in a shower, when you're cooking, when you're listening to music, write your ideas down, write your thoughts down. Come back to it later, challenge it, work through it.
Dr. Tehrani, I do not want us to get lost here because this is so critical. The idea of conceptualizing an idea, materializing an idea and bringing it into the marketplace, has one greatest enemy. That's doubt. Speak to doubt. Because I know for sure you have struggled with doubt in the past.
So if you ever are worried about doubt, look at the story of Michael Jordan. Look at his background. Grew up in a very poor family. Grew up in a large family that lived in a 2-bedroom house. I think there were multiple siblings. His brothers, who were older, were better at basketball than him. There was a famous Netflix series about him, of how he grew up, what he went through. Practice, hard work, practice, hard work, refuse to lose. Other side, I always go to sports because I love sports. Look at the story of Tom Brady. The very last pick of a quarterback, and becomes arguably one of the top quarterbacks that has ever played the game of football. Look in soccer, Maradona, Pele, none of them were rich. None of them come from families that had a lot of money. They came from the poorest families. They had doubt too, but they pushed through and they became the greatest in their field. And we can go into science and engineering as well, but I wanted to give you an example in everyday life.
If I sit back and I'm saying, okay, I can see something common about all the people you just talked about, Dr. Tehrani. All those people were poor and they had a point to prove. What if I don't have that as an individual? What if I am born in a comfortable environment? What if I am rich?
We all have something to prove, because if you are born in a well-off family, as I tell my kids, they're actually poor. They don't have any money. My wife and I have it. They don't have anything. They don't own anything. They're like, but this is my toy. I'm like, no, this is my toy. I gave it to you. You have to make your own way. You have to figure out you. And you have to teach it early to your kids that they don't have anything in this world. We lend it to them. We allow them to borrow it. And there comes a point, just as we see in the animal kingdom with lions, with wolves, with tigers, with eagles, that they're pushed out because they got to go fend for themselves. You look at bears, right? Look at bear cubs, how early that protective mother that would kill goes, I've done enough. I've taught you how to hunt. I've taught you how to eat. But you gotta go. So no matter what your background is, being true to yourself, figuring out you, what you love, what makes you happy, will make you the greatest in that area. Not what I think you're great at, because what I think doesn't matter. This world needs poetry. It needs farmers, it needs electricians, it needs plumbers, it needs doctors, it needs lawyers, it needs physicists, it needs linguists, it needs musicians. I've listened to every kind of music and it's made me feel better than any amount of money in this world. I have, believe it or not, if you listen to one of the questions you should ask me, what's on your music podcast? I have a number of albums and songs from Africa. I don't know, I can't pronounce the names, I can't pronounce even where they are, but when I listen to the song, it makes me cry because I feel something. How do you put a price on that?
There's the idea of simplicity, finding those simple gifts that nature has given us. And part of that is being able to express self. Part of that is being able to find how we serve humanity. But based on your experience, speak to us how we can best nurture those gifts. That way we can deliver them to an even bigger group here in this beautiful place we live.
Read books, read history. Don't accept one person's interpretation, including mine. Do your own work. History is phenomenal, but we tend to forget. Ask, where did we all come from? There is a great book that I recommend everyone to read if you haven't read it. It's called Sapiens, where it talks about how today you and I are sitting in front of each other. Where did we all come from? And you want to know the quick answer? We all came from Africa. All of us started from there. So take a look, read.
If there is anything that changed my life, and the simple change was pace, is discovering books. And I remember the first book that I read that fascinated me was a series, James Hadley Chase. That was many years ago, my 10 years, but over time that has changed. And I remember the time periods in my life when I did not read, the stagnation that I experienced, long durations of time. But every time I bounced back because of a book. What's the power of reading?
It gives you facts, truth. It answers questions, but it also helps you figure out who you are. Don't forget to listen to music of around the world. Go on Apple Music, go on any place you listen to music, and instead of listening to the same things, look for the category that is from around the world. Listen to it. You will be amazed at what it does to your soul. Social media other than LinkedIn, I post ideas, thoughts on LinkedIn. So if you are interested in connecting, go on LinkedIn and say, I heard you on the Immigrant Entrepreneur podcast and I'd like to connect. And then I'm more than happy to chat with you there.
As an entrepreneur, what's the value of an idea?
And always look at an idea in terms of what if versus what if not. Leave this place a better place than what you found. We all will go someday. Leave it a better place. Give more than you take. That's my final message.
Talk to us about something that I can hear behind your words. Overcoming failure and difficulty.
Many difficulties and hard times in my life. There were times that I didn't have enough money for a dinner. There were many times where I couldn't really afford to buy clothes. Those are the times that I will always remember. And those are the times that I will remember that someone else is going through. And sometimes all they need is a helping hand, where I finally got my break. Someone who didn't know me, someone who didn't know anything about me, and gave me my first break to start Zymerx. So if you're going through a difficult time, there is a helping hand around. And if you are successful, make sure you are that helping hand. Otherwise, the circle breaks.
You emphasized culture, caring, diversity and inclusion. And reading up on you, I found you have these beautiful terms as nice values. What are nice values?
Is it for you? But there's a voice inside of you that very clearly distinguishes between right and wrong. Listen to that voice. You know what the right thing to do is. I don't need to call it out for you.
Because for me, and I speak for me, I did not come to that maturity of not challenging the nice voice inside my head, right? Like, I always wanted to push back, and did most of my life in not so good ways, until the point where I got tired of losing and realized that listening to that sixth sense is probably the best barometer there is in life. Reading, I discovered that most adults struggle with the idea of listening to their inner voice. Help our listeners be able to accelerate that pain. That way they're living a free, more lucrative life.
I come back to what I said before. Write it down. Don't keep it in your head. We build things up in our head. Put your positive, negative, anxiety, lack of anxiety supercharged on a paper. Get a simple piece of paper and put it somewhere in your house, on your closet, on a door. Write and look at it. You become your own psychiatrist. You become your own best solution, and you will work through it. If you're angry, sleep on it. Don't act on it. One sleep will change you. If you're excited, if you receive compliments, be like a revolving door. Accept it and then let it go. Don't hang on to it. That becomes ego. And believe you can. Don't listen to anyone that says you can't. Now, if you ask me to bench press 500 pounds, in this current shape, I couldn't. But if I train, I can. If I eat well, I can. If you tell me to go run a marathon right now, I can't. I can't even run 10K. But if I train, I can. If I put in the hard work, I can.
Okay, there you go. I was going to dig into that, but you did. Putting in the hard work. You've spoken publicly about storytelling, and especially if you're a founder. So I can relate to this, right? Because as an immigrant, you have to know how to tell your story. Because your story just does not just represent you, it represents everybody that has the same values or the same background as you do. For those of us who are coming into entrepreneurship, how do we tell our story, especially if we're looking to raise funding?
That when you're trying to do the right thing and you have an idea that is not selfish, someone will recognize it. Someone will back it. But if you also try to tell a story that people want to hear, then you'll miss it. It's like me saying that I want to write a book or the script to a movie because everyone likes to see a war movie right now, or everyone wants to see a race car movie, as opposed to a story I want to tell. You look at a show like the Game of Thrones. No one sat around and said, I want to tell a story about dragons and zombies because that's what the market wants. Somebody had a fiction. It's like, I want to tell this story. And it became what it is. Be authentic, be genuine, care about what you're trying to solve, and somebody will recognize it.
Dr. Ali Tehrani, you have been a blessing to all of us today, and I truly, truly do appreciate you. Really, really, thank you so much. Before we sign off, what is the one thing that you would have wanted me to dwell on, to ask you that you wanted to share with immigrants today?
You asked great questions. Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me this platform to speak. I will leave everyone that is listening to this is that you're not alone. There are other people out there that are willing to give you your break if you believe and if you stand up. This world does not have to be a negative world. It has to be a positive world. Get rid of your own boundaries and limits. Where we were born was not our choice. Be the best you can to where you are and go change the world. Don't wait for someone to change it for you.
We're not the product of where we were born from. We are the product of the choices we make today and where we want to go tomorrow. Immigrants, thank you for the vote. Thank you for riding through this hour with me and Dr. Tehrani. Sir, you've been very generous with your time and appreciate for that gift. A special thank you to you, really, for sharing. If this conversation inspired you, please share it with your friends, family, and community. Follow the conversations on TikTok and Instagram at The Immigrant Nation. Find us on Facebook at The Immigrant Nation Podcast. And you can also connect with us on LinkedIn and YouTube at The Immigrant Nation Podcast and listen to the beautiful and wise words of Dr. Ali at The Immigrant Nation on Spotify. Sir, before we sign off, please tell our listeners where they can catch you one more time.
Please find me on LinkedIn. I'm there. And from there, we can connect and have a conversation.
Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure. It's wonderful, wonderful pleasure. It's so grateful to meet you. Please allow us to stay in touch with you and your team. We would love for you to come back again and have another conversation.
Thank you.
Until next time, keep honoring the stories that brought you here and the dreams that move you forward. Immigrants, it's all in your hands. Thank you.